Yo!
Hi back to our colony offer ใช่ใช่ไหมเราชื่อแหละ what is what is that I'll say it again
Overall colony design.
oh yeah offer colony
How did you
design.
forget? Jeez.
Okay
All right.
yes today we going to talk about
Welfare.
yeah
Yeah, so we like figure out that, like just only political system is not enough. So we have to, maybe invest more in like social policies, like welfare programs, in order to like, I don't know, like build more sustainable colony. And then also like ensuring like the growth or the productivities within the colony as well.
yeah but we should following up our last week voting poll.
Yes.
Should we?
So yes. So right now this is our like progressions. I think our first week, right? We decided we wanted to go to Mars, and then we also decided that we wanted to build like a space colony, in Mars orbit. And then for last week we vote for republics to be our political systems. How do you feel knowing that we're gonna, I think, like was it the run as a republics, right? That's kind of new.
That's kind of new for me.
Yeah, I mean, assuming that like, yeah.
No, I just said that because I born and grow up in democracy country, so republic is kind of new for me.
I think it's the same. It's like, having like different form of governing in like under the constitution as well. I think it's like the law and regulations triumph over, like things such as like leaders and stuff like that. But anyway, I don't think we're going to be talking about that today. We're going to talking about welfare today. So should we jump right in?
Okay.
All right.
We did a lot of research about this. Okay. As
Yeah,
we
it's
welfare
So,
refer to a rank of government something.
yes. So it's basically like a government programs that like providing like aids for individuals or group of people, or in this case like its citizens. Overall, it's like to help improve like living standards, or a well-being of the people. And do you know like who funded these programs?
Citizen.
Yes. So usually like it's throughout like taxations, right? So from like, I think from your like personal experience, like what do you think about like welfare? What do you think it is?
It's like wait a minute. Let me Google translate my sentence in my brain. From my experience, I think welfare is a basic being human being rights that government should to give to people, because all people pay tax, even they are rich or poor. Yes. Am I right?
Yes. Yes, you are. Yeah. So, I can put up this one back up again. So you see, like the topic that we're quite familiar with, not the topic, but the program is like healthcare, educations, unemployment, or even like programs that help support like the poor or disabled. and sometimes it do extend it to like childcares or housing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So do do you know anything like or any programs like regarding healthcare? Like I would like us to like give an examples for the audience.
Mm, I don't know much about unemployment, but I know about aid to poor and disabled. You know, is
Mm-hmm.
have a for disabled people that can help themselves
Mm-hmm.
for daily life, their house and have nurse to take care of them. Yeah, something like that. But I'm not sure about the name of it.
Mm. What about like educations?
Education. I think it's a school life, but it's like when the children go to school, they should study for free.
Mm-hmm. And do you know like any countries that like have like free education
Oh,
programs and
really?
stuff?
I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe New Zealand, like.
Mm-hmm.
But
And
not
also
sure.
like Finland as well. Have you heard
Oh
about
yeah, yeah.
Finland?
They have a good education system. Actually, in Thai we also have a free education
Mm-hmm.
for young kids, but I d- I'm uh I'm not sure is it real really free because uh my brother
Mm-hmm.
I learned in gifted program, so yeah, it's a special program, so I have to pay. But my brother learned in normal program in normal school. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's said free, but we have to pay. I don't know what is it. Many list is about maybe is about amount 1,000 baht for term one term.
So like do you pay for like uniforms or like books and stuff like that?
No, not. We have to pay for uniform and book stuff, but it's like I don't know what is tax or no, not a tax, but it um wait.
So it's like what? It's like sort of free, but then it kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah,
limited,
it's sort of
right?
free or duty charge, something like that. Mm,
Hmm. I
but
see.
not sure in other country anybody have to pay for this.
I mean, like, yeah, I'm not sure as well, but like example, like a better example, going back to like Finland and stuff. I think you might have heard that they do pay their citizens to go to school,
Uh,
right? Like, I think, Germany also do the same thing as well for university too, right? Because like a lot of Thai people do wanted to go to Germany and then have like free education and stuff like that. And what else? It's like sometime it's like all free, and then sometime it's like only like limited to a certain amount. Yeah.
I see.
And what about like healthcare? Do you know any like healthcare programs?
Is 30 baht program is this for healthcare program?
Yeah.
Is it? Oh yeah. But in Thai we still have 30 baht program.
I'm not sure now. I mean, I think we sort of do. So for many of you who are not familiar with like what is this like 30 baht for like for all medical, it's like you like when you whether you got diagnosis with like really serious like disease or whatsoever, or you injure, you can walk into the hospitals and pay only like 30 baht, and then you can get like a full healthcare cover. So it shouldn't cost you any more money to like get treated basically. But right now I'm not so sure as well.
Yeah,
I think yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure too because uh, I always pay at full cost.
Well, let's just say that our countries have a quite a tricky, situations and social welfare. But I think, like the UK, right? I think medical care is free. Let's say if you like have a heart attack or you faint and then you like flop down on the grounds and then somebody have to call you, and was it, how do you call it? Ambulance? And then they can come and pick you up without you having to pay for anything. Unlike the United States, where if you fainted and then if you need like medical assistance, right, and then somebody have to call you in like an ambulance to come and pick you up, then you could potentially be paying God knows how many thousands of dollars, I guess. So it's like different countries have different policies on how they want to make a certain thing free or not. I think Thailand also have unemployment as well. I think many of the countries do. And do you know anything about like childcare?
Childcare. We also have uh, orphan house to raise orphan kids.
Mm-hmm. And funded by the government, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But some place is not funding by the government.
I see. Um,
Uh-huh.
there's also like how do you call it? Like a family care as well. Like maternity leave and stuff. Like if you're pregnant or you have to give birth, you could like receive some sort of like support or, or money from the government.
Uh-huh, yes. And childcare have I think childcare program must have many detail about teenager that pregnant
Yeah, right.
and yeah is still our problem right now.
I see. So before we move on to like our next topic, I would like to ask, like, do you think like welfare is like for poor people?
I just think actually welfare is for everyone, but
Mm-hmm.
rich people can reach easier reach better spatial program that they have to pay because they can pay, but poor people can. But welfare should exist for everyone
Mm-hmm.
because everyone always pay tax.
Yeah, like I mean, the thing is, I think, let's say if someone being on a welfare or just welfare system by itself sometimes can get a bad reputations, like or misconceptions that okay, you need to be poor to be on welfare and things like that. But like as you said, what you just said now and then what you said at the beginning of the live is that it's supposed to meant for all the people, right? Because it's more of like like I said, it come back to like the growth and the productivities within the countries. If you want people to perform really well, then you have to invest more in people, right? And whether not only like physically but also mentally. And the more the government be able to kind of like managing or creating a certain programs that take a stress out of its citizens, the better that the better the people's gonna perform. I mean, supposedly, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So you want to give like an examples of like why would it be good? Like why welfare it's meant to be like for all and not just for poor people.
Uh, it's true for all because we everyone should have option uh should have good life, good
Mm-hmm.
being life at basically not just rich people. And So it should no, it just should exist for
Yeah.
everyone because yeah, about healthcare, right? If you're rich, you can reach and go to private hospital because it's better than public hospital, more complicated, less less people, and quick and faster than public hospital. So
Mm,
but if we invest in but if government invest in public hospital more, as you said, uh,
mm,
if if all people have their life, they're gonna perform well, and it will drive our economy, our country economy. Yeah, so we don't have to be a poor country anymore.
mm. And not just having to be like a poor country as well, but I think, when people start out their life, right? If they start out with equal chances, of course, yeah, everybody gonna perform better. Examples, right? I think in Finland, like when you pregnant or when you like gonna have like students, right? I think the government do prepare kind of like a gift box for you, like, and inside there be like diapers and everything that a baby would need, and they would also give you like an allowance. And like whether if you're like teen pregnancy or just normal pregnancies or whatnot, it's like it does help take a lot of stress, out of you. You don't have to worry like, okay, if I have a kid, would I be able to afford, you know, a good living conditions for my kids, or like what do I need to get, and things like that. We do have a comment, but we're gonna address this in a little phase, because next one we're gonna talk about like pros and cons of having welfare, especially on Earth, and then we'll implement like these social policies or welfare programs of like how it would be implemented in our Mars colony. So just stay tuned for that, and then we'll talk more as well. All right, so shall we move on?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so advantage and disadvantage of like having a welfare programs, right? So as you see here, you can say that it does help reduce poverty, right? It make everybody's more starting their life off more kind of like equal ground. And then sometimes you also have like better access to educations. You can also give people access to like food or basic needs, and also help avoid like homelessness, because like the more help the government could offer, it does help people boost back up when they're bankrupt, or if they're losing their jobs and things like that. And also better medical treatment as well. And yeah, like I said earlier, it's like a safety net for many in case like you lost jobs or disabilities. And then it's also help with like lower social tensions, and then give people opportunity, like equal opportunities, and then improve income and then wealth inequality problems. So, Gig, do you have anything like you would like to add into that?
Um, Not now. I don't. I think I don't have.
All right. So you agree with it so far, right?
Yes.
So we can move on to like the disadvantage, right? Of course, since it's funded by like taxpayer, it's gonna be quite costly to the citizens, right? Like, and we don't know how many programs do we need to ensure everyone. So yeah, we're gonna have a lot of spendings to do for sure. And then sometimes it also could lead to like misuse, or leave room for people who looking to abuse the system. And the citizen could be too dependent on welfare, and also sometimes it could like less the motivations to go to work or do better, and also potentially take away personal possibilities. And that welfare is not available for all in certain aspect, and then there might be discrimination. So what do you think about that?
Um, First, about costly to taxpayer. I think if people have basic needs like good education system, healthcare system, um, there will there will there will be คุณภาพ
Quality.
yeah quality citizen,
Yeah.
and it means they can work and they can take care of themselves and their family. So I
Mm-hmm.
think uh tax is not a not a big deal for them. I think if they have a basically needed.
Yeah. I think sometimes, talking about like people abusing the system, right? I mean, sometimes people just like, you know what, why do I gotta work if I could just exist and then, live off like my government like funded. And depending on how much money or how good the welfare system is, some people just, you know.
Mm. Yeah,
So
if you just want to have enough meal, enough just when you get sick, you just go to hospital. You don't want something special. You don't
mhm.
want or you don't want to be rich or want any gift for yourself. You just be unemployed and let the government feed you.
Mm.
But
But
I think most people don't want to live like that
yeah, because I
because
feel like if we like, let's say if in this case, it's like free education. Even if you're like living off welfare, you can just, apply to school without any cost, and then you could learn about things, and then from there you get your degrees, and then you get a better jobs, making even more money, and then having a better living standards, right? So also you get even more educated. So like when you get more educated, I think that's like unlikely for you to want it to stay in the welfare system or programs. You know what I mean?
hmm maybe it's about the attitude
Yeah,
in
maybe it
people
is.
brain.
Yeah. So of course it's like a puzzle piece. It's one of the puzzle piece, but there's still a lot of things that need to be taken into considerations to make it all work.
hmm
So I think we can move on to like, drive in a little bit more on what do our space colony would need, I say.
Yeah.
So here, so yes, we're building a space colony in Mars orbit, right?
hmm
Um, so what would be our challenge? What do you think our people would need? And then that how important it is for our colony to have a good social welfare policy.
Um.
We can actually jump back to the the comments saying that in first phase of Mars colonization should be communism. Everyone serve for colony survival. What do you think about that, Kik?
I afraid if we do that at the first time we colonize on Mars, I think we will do it for many years until someone feel like, oh, this is unfair. We should go to new system.
Mm-hmm.
We should build new system.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, uh, episode 4 we talk about, right? Is it episode 4 that we talk about
Yeah.
yeah about communism? Yeah, it's also have a good side, but it also have a bad side, and we have to think: is it communism is worth it for us? Is it worth it?
I think we have
I
to
don't think so.
ask the questions like why communism? Because if we're talking about the if we're talking about a system that would somehow enforce us to achieve a single goal or striving forward and stuff, yeah, ideally it does sound appealing, right? It does sounds good. Like why wouldn't anyone should work, like being focused on building this wonderful colony? But the thing is, the disadvantage that come with communism is that, let's say, if you need to send people to go mine an asteroid that you know that half of the people that you send gonna die. In communism, you don't have a say. Your leader tell you to go there and you do it. So even if it's gonna cost you your life, that's what you have to do. Like it's gonna bring up a questions like why wouldn't you do it? Why wouldn't you go mine all these resources for the colony? Are you not doing for the colony? And that's in itself it's quite scary, to to use it in a form of governing on Mars. But yeah,
I just got an idea. What is communism look like?
yeah,
Uh, have you ever watched an documentary?
yes,
And yes, every ant work for big
the queen.
giant and yeah, one
Yeah,
big giant. And what is that?
yeah.
Yeah,
So I hope that answers your questions of why it should or it shouldn't be communism. And I think the reason at first at first the directions of the vote, like 2 weeks ago vote, I thought that, we thought that it's going to be communism as well, but it turned out that people tend to go more republics, because I think with republics there's legislations and constitutional and stuff. So it's to be the power to many people, and then the way that the colony would be run, it's determined by the people, right? Because it's literally power to the people. So if the people vote for a certain policies, that's how it's going to be. It's not based on one absolute, like, you know, person.
it's about how it's about humanization survive. It shouldn't depend on just one people.
Yeah, maybe that person might not be as well rounded,
Yeah, if
and
it's me.
yeah, and you could hope that they have a good team that would help them, but with republics or a form of governance that's more based on democracy, like if their team is not doing well, you can vote them out.
Mm-hmm.
So it does, and it's kind of better in a sense. But all right, now that we answer your questions, we can go back to here. So, Gik, what do you think would be, the challenge in establish this
Um,
colony for us? I mean, what do you think we need? Do you think our space colony need like a free healthcare? What about educations and unemployment and stuff? We can, go in orders as well, so we don't get too confused. Starting from healthcare.
I think we need all of this.
Yeah. In what sense?
But
Like all free or no free welfare, or limited sort of like welfare?
um, about education and healthcare, I think it should be all free.
Mm-hmm.
But about child, it's hard. It's difficult to answer this question.
All right. So I think the best way to go about it, we can focus like on one topic first, and then we can talk if our colony would need that. So starting off with like healthcare, right?
Mhm.
Why do our space colony need free healthcare? Why do you think that is?
um, because even we live on Mars, we still get sick,
Mm-hmm.
and um, not all people can pay in expensive costs. And
Mm-hmm.
if we have a healthcare program about this, take care of people,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's better than let them die.
Just put them in the airlock and be like, bye.
Yeah, bye. Oh, you got sick. Oh, you got COVID. Bye. No hospital for you. No,
Yeah.
I mean on my.
I mean, imagine like being on Earth is so difficult to go on without a health, like a proper like healthcare programs. Like being in space, like with if it's not free, then you kind of f up, you know.
Survival and survival.
Yeah. So yeah. So personally, I think that it should be free as well because living in space is already stressful enough, and I think health and things it's like a priority when you're out there, you know, and
Yeah, yeah.
it should be free in my opinions. So what about education, Vic? Do
Um,
do our colony deserve to have free educations?
I think deserve. Yes, we deserve it.
Yeah.
Because uh, it's education system is a important. I think it's the most important basic system. If
Mm-hmm.
you put a kid to bad school or bad education system, then you will get uh, not equality citizens.
Yeah.
Yeah, and think about if many kids can even apply to school,
Mm-hmm.
that will be sad and that will be problem for for many people in future. They can grow up and be a criminal, be a rapper.
Oh no. That's really extreme example, but yes. And to keep it in a lighter perspective is that I think having a space colony, right? You need a lot of people knowing to do different things and or to be specialized in operating an
Oh yeah.
aircraft or whatever infrastructures that we're going to be having. So it wouldn't make any sense if we don't try our best to educate them, right? Because you don't want to put somebody who's inexperienced in running, I don't know, nuclear fusions. If you put
Oh
them
yeah.
there and then it's just like psh. And of course
Uh,
being in space, like it's like it's such a limited amount of people as well. Like
mhm.
how much people can you have, you know? You're not going to be able to like make enough of them, or maybe they might die sooner than you anticipate, right? By having educated populations does help, you know, take or reduce those risks of not having qualified people running the colony, I guess. So
What's
you
next,
get
Julian?
so next one is childcare. Can you imagine being like a mother giving birth in space? Like what do you need? What do you think, you know, you would need?
First, I need a father.
Let's assume that
Okay.
you found your man. Oh yeah.
Um, child as a child care.
Like let's say if you like just gave birth to your kids and then somebody called and been like, we really need you to be in the engineering sessions. What are you gonna do? Take your kids to work with you, or are you gonna like, you know, is the government gonna build a rooms or space? Be like, okay, you can drop off your kids here, and we'll take care of the kids, and you know, don't have to worry about it.
That's not good.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
sounds
that's
cool.
not good. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. All child care.
Hmm. So what else?
What
What
I
else?
will.
What else
Being
regarding childcare?
a mother,
Sorry?
if you a mother or ma, what would you need?
All the help I can get.
Mm.
um let's say, right, there's a lot of risk in being in space. Let's say if the parents go out into space and work or mine, and there's an accident and the parents die or something like that,
Mm.
where do the childs go, right? So by having a child care or welfare programs for that could also help making sure that the kids growing up well and doesn't have to live off scraps or something, you know, like, oh, there's a place for you to go and then free education for you as well, and things like that.
You have many good idea about childcare program.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any idea about this this
Research.
program.
Research guy. All right, we can move on to, the next one. Housing. This is actually quite interesting one. Like, do we offer everyone like free housings, or by the time when people want to migrate to a colony, do they have to like prepay their room first before they can move there? What do you think, Kik? Do you think that we should offer housing for everyone, or how should we do
Yeah,
this?
I think we should offer housing for everyone, and they can pay the government back by working.
Mm-hmm.
And if they pay it enough, and they want to be bigger, and they want to have a bigger house, a more beautiful house, they just build it by their own self. But
Build it
first, they build the house.
in space.
If you can.
Maybe like everybody could have like a personal pod, like space pod,
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
that
yeah,
that
yeah,
connect to like the bigger ship and just like
yeah.
keep
But if
stacking up.
if you rich, and you can build anything for yourself, you just build it. But at first, we should offer them free housing and let them pay back by working.
Mm.
I think it's our good idea.
We can write them down and we can have a workshop as well, because there's going to be a lot of thing that we need to clarify for our, for this challenge that we're doing right now. Yeah, either work to pay the house, or we give them standard housing, and then if they ever wanted to upgrade, they can work harder, earn more money, and then pay for the upgrades. That's also an option. And the next one is aid to poor and disabled.
And we also should have this program,
Mm-hmm.
because if you can take care of yourself, instead who will take care of you if the government won't do it?
Yeah, depends on the government. The government might put people in airlock.
Yeah, and say goodbye to us.
But yeah, like it's also raised a lot of questions too. Like, do our colony would accept people with disability? You know.
Oh, if they go out to work in Spain, and yeah, they have accident and they come back with be and then they come back and turn to be disabled
Mm-hmm.
person,
Mm.
the government just left them. It sound unfair.
Yeah, it is definitely sound unfair, because I mean, well, I think I would say luxuries of being in 0G. Like, let's say if you don't have an arms or a leg, it's I think it might be okay because you could just float around. But again, it depends if we be able to like mimic gravity or not. So that's also another things, right? But definitely it is unfair if if people went to work in space and then come back injured, and then the government want unwilling to help fund them, because this in itself also connect to like healthcare too, you know, like what you gonna do, you know?
Give, give them a medal and say goodbye.
Oh no. We're like, bye now.
Bye. You're so brave.
Okay, so the last one that we could talk about is unemployment. So we're talking about healthcare, right? And then we're talking about disabled, and bringing up your example is like, if that were the case and then it put people into unemployment, would it be a good idea for us to also have some sort of like unemployment fund, you know, giving people like a minimum allowance for them to get all the basic things within the colony?
Yeah. I I think we should, but if we want to push them to have to go find work, we we might create something or somehow to motivate them.
Mm. Yeah, I think that in itself come down to educations. I've like, you know, it's like everything is connected. I think you wouldn't consider having like a free social welfare, like you wouldn't consider it's a thing until you is well educated enough about it, you know. That okay, you know what, maybe all of us deserve to start our life equally, you know. I think we can we compare it to our culture as well. Sometimes we like Thai culture, right? We quite family oriented, you know, and oftentimes we also do have like conflict within the families. Somebody want to join in on the
Can you guys
conversation?
stop?
So you know, when you're having conflict with your parents, let's say, you know, you can get kicked off of the family, right? But if you have like a welfare that help support you, like you could, you know, go up to the government and be like, hey, I got kicked out from my house, I don't have any money, and my parents are no longer pay for my school, can you help? And then the government is like, yes, okay, you're gonna have this allowance, and then you're going to stay here, and then you're gonna, you know, get this free education. So of course, I think even with that kind of issues or conflict, you could still grow up to be a responsible and quite a good citizens, right? In this sense. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a yeah, it's a good idea. Um, uh, um, 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 um.
Is there anything you like to talk about though? Because
It's just something.
there's other program as well that we haven't mentioned. Like there's a lot of social programs, but these are like the main six that I think it would be good just to talk about today.
Um, maybe about the resource.
What?
What is your question again? I didn't hear it because my background is too loud.
Okay. So I think we could like cut off the presentations right here by asking people, should you know, should or shouldn't the welfare be free? So we got a comment. Wait. Okay, what did Daniel say? It also depends on the colony. Is it Earth 2.0 with the same jobs, or are the jobs on Mars crucial to survival? Can you elaborate more on these questions?
Uh-huh. Um, okay, we can go back to our shoot or should not. Can we?
Mm-hmm.
Shall we?
And then we can
Okay.
discuss this after.
Uh-huh. Um, I think we should. I think we it should be free.
Mm-hmm.
because we also pay tax by everything we.
Oh, right. I think our colony gonna tax people a lot as well because it need to be run in space and
Yeah. What about water? Yeah, you know it, right? In Thai, we have to pay for we have to pay water bill, but in water bill we also have to pay tax in water bill too. So
mm,
uh tax is in everywhere, is in everything we buy or we take it to home. So we also pay tax. Why we have to pay it for welfare too? Maybe uh anybody else have a good reason for this, for my question, but in my opinion, I think it should be free because we also pay tax in our daily life.
mm. Yeah, I think me too. I don't like the idea of no welfare or limited welfare. I think it is important for the government to um, to have all these programs to support its citizens, so everybody start eagerly, and also kind of like a safety net for a lot of the people in case of any conflicts or unexpected like life event. And the better the government doing this, then the better a good like more good quality citizens there will be. That's just my personal opinions.
I
But
have
yeah.
okay, I have an experience about this.
Hmm.
When I was young, I think USA education system is better than uh, our country.
Hmm.
And yeah, I asked an adult at the time why we don't have a good education system like USA, and they they said it's because we are poor country. We people can pay much much tax, so we don't. So yeah, we not a rich country, so we can have it, but
Hmm.
when now I think it's not about we are poor or rich. It's about government management.
Yes. Yeah, it is. Yes. Yeah. I mean, even the word poor is quite, I don't know, sometimes it's sort of, I don't know if realistic would be like the word for it. I think, each country have their own rate for things, right? I mean, in the Western would be looking at Thailand like, oh, everything's so cheap, so of course you're poorer. But no, it's not. Like if you judge it accordingly to that particular countries, you have to see like the distributions of all these prices. So technically it's just the same. It just, yeah, really boiled down to like management, you know and and uh, but of course, like having better economy and more money, like this, like the more money the citizen have, it also might be able to improve a lot of things too. But that also come down to government again too, with its policies and how it's run. Like, let's say if you have a government that doesn't cares about um how, like, doesn't care about giving a good policy encouraging like SME, like small businesses, and just taxing. So first off, you're not going to encouraging people to spend money, and you're not going to encourage people to come up with new businesses. Sometimes could be really innovative businesses that might not only work in that particular countries but also work internationally. you know
Mm-hmm.
so when they cannot generating income like that or bringing in money from abroad, and then they have to also pay even more taxes, like how can we have like a productive societies from that.
Yes.
So so yeah. um I feel like we should address what Daniel asked us. So you want to talk about it now before like we just chit chatting about things?
Mm, you
I
should
mean,
have.
some job would be similar, right? I mean, and then of course there's gonna be some job that's quite crucial for Mars survival.
Yeah, like a teacher.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's my similar on. It's my similar like a teacher on Earth.
yeah.
And yeah, we will have similar job and have a different job. But
It
what is the question? I'm
it I
sorry,
think it's
I don't get it.
I think it depends. Like, I mean, what do you find like crucials, right? I mean, are we talking about like at the beginning of like the colony, or are we
Mm,
talking about when the colony is like 10K or a million people in space? Because if it's like, of course, if there's like only like 1,000 people, mostly they're gonna be doing like mechanical, engineering and things like that. But then when you have like a million in populations, maybe somebody want to be an artist creating like NFT
yeah,
for Mars,
yeah.
like so.
You, I like the idea from billionaire, Japanese billionaire
Uh-huh.
that want to go to Mars with Elon Musk or Mars or Moon. I'm not sure
Moon,
about
moon,
it.
moon, moon, moon.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The idea he says. I watched his video clip on YouTube. He said, uh, we used to send scientists, engineer to space,
Mm-hmm.
but we never sent artists to space before. Question is, if we send Mozart or yeah any artist, famous artist to space, uh, how how their work will look like, their
Mm.
artwork will look like. Oh, and that question is so it's
Mind
my
opening.
yeah my opinion for me because I never think about that before.
Yeah. I mean, for many of you, if you still can't picture it, imagine like when you work, right? And then you're so stressed from work, you got back home. Sometimes you just want to listen to the music you like, you know, and it you might say like, oh, why do we need artists, being in space? But yeah,
We
like if
need
you come home,
artists.
what?
We need artists.
Yeah, it does help, ease tension or stress out of you doing
Oh,
partaking in like artistic activities.
I know if we write a song on Mars, the lyrics might be you live so far, you live on Earth, but I live but I live on
Oh my god.
Wait, is my like that?
We already have that, but yes, it would be more real. Imagine like writing a love song about you being on Earth and I'm being on Mars. Okay, so Daniel said if people go to Mars because they want to, not because they need to, warp, like, they will probably be more accepting of the system because they agree to the term. Yes, I think it's true to a certain extent that maybe at the beginning, but as human, I don't think we ever satisfy with anything or our first choices. I feel like if we have a task, once we complete that task, let's say to get to Mars and sustain a life on Mars, when we get there and we've done it, there's gonna be a next thing for us to chase after. So yes, people will be accept to the system, but for how long? You know, for how long? Yeah. Is that answer to your questions? I hope it is. Uh, but yeah, um, I think now that we touch subjects on the welfare systems and how we could implement it on our space colony. Would you like to chit chat about even like about our social welfare as well? And then maybe we can touch subjects on why it might be important because I think there's a
Um,
why would it be good?
actually, Actually, I have a little topic chit chat for chit chat.
Okay.
Uh, okay. I met a person and he says, uh, okay, he okay. The mysterious guy is rich and he said people poor people they are poor because of themselves. They're lazy and they're stupid. It's not the government's responsibility to take care of them life. Uh, I believe many people still believe like this guy. Uh, rich people, many rich people still believe like this guy. Okay, first I want you to separate the topic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you want to be rich, you have to work hard and study harder. That's right, exactly right. But what people asking from the government is basically welfare for living, and the government should take care of it because everyone pay tax. That
Mm-hmm.
keep the government alive.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get paid for doing something, it's your job, your responsibility to make the job done. And if you say it's not the government responsibility, um, question is what is the point that the government exists and we're still paying tax?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just want to ask him back.
So
That's it.
if you're watching, and
Is
if
you
you wanna,
watching?
but like if you wanna, interact with this particular discussion, just comment down below. Um, I think you might be asking one questions, but there's so many points that need to be clarified. Um, First off, talking about these rich people or well, it doesn't matter if it's rich or middle class people or what classes of people who's saying this. I feel like I don't know. I feel like the person. This is based on my assumptions, by the way. So I hope I'm not offending anyone. But I feel like by saying that statement from the rich people, one, you probably have the privilege to not having to deal with a certain issue. So of course you won't be able to to understand it in the perspective of the people who affected by these by not having welfare. You know what I mean? First, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, so it's like so many things running in my head. I have to compose my sentence. Um, so what do I mean by privilege, right? What do I mean by rich people have the privilege? Well, first off, there's a good reasons why certain people are rich, whether their family are really smart or their family are able to establish a really good foundations for a generation to come. It's really important like to do something first and do something really good and be able to carry that on. So you have a knowledge or expertise in on a certain things more than many people do. Otherwise, you wouldn't be rich. That's a privilege, right? And of course, you can say that it's oh yeah, but it's my grandparents work hard for it. Yes, your grandparents work hard for it, and it paid off. And then now you're living off whatever they have. That's a privilege, like because you were technically born into it. And what else? And yes, rich people have influences in people in high positions. Like because who do you think rich people go talk to? Another rich persons or another well-rounded persons. And they also can afford educations, going to good school, get a good tutors, get a good equipment. These are the things that without them realizing it's the thing that could help enhance their like opportunities in life, of course. So yeah, they're gonna have a better opportunities than the kid who born from slum. You know what I mean? Like what do that kids have? So by saying that, oh, you should work hard, it's like at the same time you're also not recognizing how much privilege do you have. And one, you either really that oblivious, or two, you don't want to recognize it, because the more people that knows that this is a thing, then the more rich, like the more, like, how do I say, they're gonna they might potentially ended up being your competitor. So you don't want to recognize it. So you're not gonna talk about it. You're not gonna help them improve. So this is the two things that you know, like as normal people have to like aware of that too, right? And what's other questions, right? And what about, let's say, normal people, middle class people? Personally, I feel like everybody have their own prison. You know, everybody have their ideologies, the things they look up to. Sometimes this person could quite educated, aware that there's inequalities in the world and things like that, and still choose to oppress, you know, the ideas of making things even more equal or making things for the poor. It's because sometimes they have like kind of like a how do you call it, like the idea they wanted to hold on to, something that they wanted to believe. So anything that threaten that institutions or whatever it is, it's like a no-go, because you know, if that ideology breakdowns, their identity also break down with it too. Right. now now come to the third, like, classes, or I'm not sure if I would classify them as like general people or poor people. I don't want to say poor, because you know, sometimes they're not poor. To say that we don't need like welfare or free medical education and things like that, I also partially feel like it's because they're also not that educated enough to this whole topic too. And this could imply to other classes, to the rich people as well. But the rich people were mostly blind by their privilege. But yeah, so when you're not educated about the beneficials of why a government exists or why social rules exist, and then how things are supposed to be operated, of course it's always easier for you to blame, you know. It's like, you don't have money, yeah, because you don't trying hard enough. But then at the same times, like, how could that person try hard enough when they don't even know, when they don't even have the money to buy something to eat that day? Like, what kind of energy can they put on the table to be like, okay, I need to hustle? You know, it's easier for you to say that when you're not going to sleep at night while your stomach is hungry. And good of the time, it's just, you know, people can be inconsiderate. You know, I think we are guilty of this too as well. When we pass a certain challenge in life, when we hustle enough, and then we pass that border that say that we're successful, we tend to forget how hard we have to fight through it. So when you forget, you keep thinking that, oh yeah, like if I can do it, you can do it too. But yeah, but before you get there, it's a hard process, you know. And maybe you're lucky, maybe you're not, you know. So yeah, so I have to like clarify these things first. And then what was your questions again?
No. I just ask everyone that if we think it's not government responsibility to take care of our basic needed, like healthcare program or education program, I think we should. I think if you think like that, you should ask yourself why you still paying tax and to keep the government alive, and what is the point that we still have government.
Yeah. Yeah, it's otherwise you just keep your money and then operate it yourself in a pot of
Just do
land,
it by
right?
yourself, right?
So yeah, it doesn't make sense. But like I said, I wouldn't lose sleep thinking too much about what people gotta say. You don't know their life. You don't know if there's a beneficial deeper into it. You don't know. So the best thing you could do is if you believe on a certain ideologies or certain things, you should just live up to it and do it. If you believe in free education or healthcare or good social welfare, then fight for it. And personally, I think everyone should because life is hard. Like I always say, life is hard, and 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 sometimes you can't solve every problems alone. Sometimes you need to rely on your family and friends. And when you don't have family and friends, sometimes you can rely on your government, right? And when you get help from the government, then you might be like, oh yeah, you know what? My country have done a lot for me, and I want to do better for my countries. And then when you have a multiple people feeling like that, then you know we could make our countries better and preserve our culture or our identity or whatever it is better, instead of just making everybody living off scraps. I mean, what that's going to achieve, because people are not going to be like people are not going to be thinking about like a bigger pictures. People are going to be thinking about what am I going to eat today, and that's it. And yeah, this is my opinions.
Yeah, I like that.
So
So, are we gonna talk up our topic?
I think so. Is anybody have any more questions, or I'm so sorry that I was like mumbling about stuff. I
No,
was like,
no, that's fun. I don't have questions anymore. That's fun. Thank
I'm
you.
just gonna be cute. So yeah, we can call it off, I guess. Um, yeah, you want to do the outro?
Uh, yeah. Uh, okay. That is all our opinion and our research, our presentation. I think that is for today, right? Okay.
Yep. See you next time. Next
Okay.
Saturday. Next Saturday, you might be, talking with Gig only because I won't be here.
Oh my god. Okay. Okay, I will miss you guys, the audience. Bye bye. See you.
Bye, ya.